I've just told you now that I'm going to bring in more men, but the underlying factor has to be addressed. Because even if you deploy the entire Nigerian army in Plateau State, if the underlying factors are not addressed, we can't achieve much. The underlying factor has to be addressed. Because even if you deploy the entire Nigerian army in Plateau State, if the underlying factors are not addressed, we can't achieve much.
Saturday, the 27th day of September is today, 2025. I think this is the most important video on the internet space in Nigeria in this year, 2025. And I want you to pay attention and I want you to watch this video because your land is about to be taken away from you. Your ancestral homes is about to be taken away. And there is no remedy to stopping the invaders who are about to take your ancestral homes. The Chief of Army Staff is assumed as the #1 army personnel in Nigeria. Now, he traveled to Kogi State and he made a statement that Nigerians have pushed aside as usual. We are not interested in our life. We are not interested in our future, the future of our children. That is why you see some people, if you ask them, choose to live 10 years or 5 years and have any money you want to have and die. They will choose just to live for 5 years and die. That mentality is a very dangerous mentality that has been inculcated on so many people in Nigeria and Africa at large. Now, the Chief of Army Staff, one of his visits to Kogi State, made a statement that shook me. When I listened to what he said some months ago, and I exercised patience to see if there is anybody who will take the case up to understand what is actually lying before us, I see nobody talking about it, no news media that discussed it, nothing whatsoever. Now, what did this man say? He said, and I quote, "Even though you deploy the whole army, the whole military in Nigeria to one community, or to Plateau State, or to Kogi State, or to Benue State, they can't fight the bandits and defeat them. They can't fight the terrorists and defeat them. Why?" He said, there is an underlying issues. Unless that underlying issue is solved, they can't, defeat them. Now, I begin to ask, this is a perpetual war until the purpose of these people is achieved. And I remember what the Sultan of Sokoto said, and I quote, "If the issue of banditry is going to end in Nigeria, it will take decades." Mind you, decades, meaning from 20 years upward, because a decade is 10 years. So he said decades. So from 20 years upward. In other words, this insecurity you are seeing is going to stay with you for more than 20 years. And for statistics' sake, it is on the rise. The insecurity is on the rise, penetrating villages, towns that it has never been before. There is a problem. There is a fire on the mountain.
Well, I wouldn't say particularly that it's going to be a new strategy, because the fact here is that there are some issues that need to be resolved, politically. Because we can't rely permanently on kinetic approach to issues. So with that, I'm going to meet the governor of the state and deliberate with him to see how we can resolve these issues politically. We're talking about our aspect of the job. We're going to see how we can enhance the security of this place by inducting more men, inducting more enablers, and maybe from there we'll take it on.
Okay, sir, you just said something about we're going to ask about their request for more personnel in Plateau State. So what's the plan?
I've just told you now that I'm going to bring in more men, but the underlying factor has to be addressed. Because even if you deploy the entire Nigerian army in Plateau State, if the underlying factors are not addressed, we can't achieve much.
Has there been any arrest so far, sir?
You have listened to him, right? Okay, now just pay attention. You might not like the way I understand things, the way I put things, and the way I bring out all these things. This is because politics and religion have not taken the integral part of me. And I used to tell people, don't allow politics and religion to take the integral part of you. You will not have brain to reason any longer. Because anytime you want to reason, religion will fling your faculty to one side. Politics will fling your brain to one side. You can't even have an independent mind. And that is what is killing an average person in Africa. The power to have your independent mind, to understand what is ahead of you. Now, you see, this is not the first time. The way the head of military intelligence agency, the SS, chief of army staff, they are telling you the truth, but you are the one that fails to understand. Every now and then, you are crying that there is a bandit, there is a terrorist here, blah, blah. These people told you. that they cannot stop this. There is an underlying issue now. The underlying issue here is this. These people were imported by the politicians. It started from November 2014 to February 2015. They pumped in people. They needed 3 million votes to add on top of Buhari's vote to remove Goodluck Jonathan. This is reality. And they used to come to national televisions to accept, to tell people that we did this. We used it to remove Jonathan. And if they needed 3 million votes, do you know the excuse they are giving now? That they did not use them again after importing them, that Atiku, Bukola Saraki, Dino Mendai, all these people now joined them from PDP to APC, including Kwakwanso, but they did not use them again. So they now have to spread all over. So when Buhari became president, Buhari started talking about Ruga to position these people, and a lot of people vehemently rejected the Ruga. And that is where we are today. And I mean, Chief of Army Staff is telling you there is an underlying issue. I want you to ask questions. Your land will be taken away from you. Your people will be killed, and there will be no mercy. You know what? I want you to pay more attention now. Listen to what Kunde Olawumi said before. You know why you must take these videos like your creed? You listen to it every day. Your reaction to this will determine how the future is going to be. Whether all your plans, all your community will be wiped out and replaced by foreigners. It depends on how you react to this. Listen to what a military intelligence agency said in this place called Nigeria. Take a listen.
That constitution is a fraud. Now, what you are doing now, you want to start, advancing the interest of those religious groups to actually now confirm that Nigeria is an Islamic state. And let me tell you something that people don't know. This thing was caused by the British between 1900 and 1960. They knew that they cannot govern the North except they allowed them to practice their religion, and they were using their religious leader to basically govern them. It is called indirect rule. Immediately after independence, 1960, the British knew that they shouldn't have forged these two people together. They know. But because they want to achieve the divide and rule and to be able to conquer and take our resources and steal whatever they want to steal over the years, they merged these two people together. They could not govern the North and South under one religious or administration. They know. So they now give independence and merge you people to work together. That was why the 1960 coup started. That was how the Civil War started. Now, 86, Babangida came with OIC stuff, tried to Islamize us. It didn't work. In 2000, when 1999-2000, when Obasanjo came, he permitted them to start practicing Sharia. Today now, they want to consolidate it. Once you remove that person, all of us, whether you are Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Jukun, Christian, traditional, you are now under the law, the Islamic law, because they put it in the constitution.
In fact, listening to the member that was representing Ahoda East, Abu Anudua Federal Constituency, River State, I want to get his words. He said personal matters that was envisaged, he says, by the people who drafted this constitution. And I want to quote him. The implication is, if the word personal is removed, Islamic law would have broader implications. The word personal was put there for a reason. Let's talk a bit about this whole conversation about Islamizing the country with our population and our dynamics. Is it possible that someone can sneak this in at some point and force all of us under some sort of regulation that we do not ascribe to? Is it possible that this can happen in this country?
It is possible, and don't be deceived. It's going to happen. Do you know Constantinople? Today's Turkey? They were almost 98% Christian before now. Today, it's an Islamic country. I did Islam in my master's program, and I was trained by Professor Alijani. He's a Persian. He's an Iranian American. And I scored A. That's excellent in Islam. So I know them. It may take them 1,000 years. They will Islamize Nigeria. So they will take it slowly, gradually. They don't forget. All of us will be dead after some time. Our children that don't care, or this Jersey will come, they will still Islamize this country. If they can do it in Turkey, today's Turkey, what stops you? Why do you think they won't do it here? Except we take steps now, because we are the ones that are talking about these things. Our next generation in 50 years will not even care. You understand? So I'm thinking that if some part of the country, I don't want to be specific, if they feel strongly about an ideology, a religious, I think they can restrict it to their area. And I think maybe Tinubu should do well by developing this issue of regional autonomy where everybody should organize themselves, or at worst, let the country actually go apart and you can do whatever you want in your area. I've come to that conclusion that I don't think we can stay together because of this very strong belief about religion. So it's either we stay together or people should mind their religion and stay where they are and practice what they want. Imposing it on others is wrong. I study Islam, and I don't want to talk blasphemy here. If I start talking about Islam in the next 3 hours, we will not live here.
No, we don't want you to talk blasphemy either. Talking about our country, in many, we are not a religious country, so to on paper. We're a secular nation. What kinds of conversations should we be having with the Nigerian people, especially the younger generation, about how to ensure that we remain secular, where you can practice your religion in any part of the country that you please without imposing your views or belief systems on any other person? What kind of conversations should we be having, and what should our lawmakers be thinking at the back of their minds? At least they've made the first step, which is dropping this bill and ensuring that it doesn't go through. But in subsequent conversations that you said will inevitably come up, what should we be doing as a people to ensure this doesn't happen?
I'm going to be extreme. For me, if you look at Sudan, you have now North Sudan, South Sudan. I think we should have Northern Nigeria and Southern. Then they can practice whatever they want. There's no dialogue because they will not stop. I've told you it may take 1,000 years. They will still do it. Or if you let everybody go their way, maybe you have enough. They remain there and you have the sovereignty down south. Then you can do what you want. Or if you remain and you think you can talk to your Jersey and people that don't care about anything, it will happen. It took hundreds of years before Turkey, Constantinople, Istanbul was converted completely today. And if you look at history will tell you that you cannot assuage these people. Who owns those banks? I did a lot of research, and I want our audience to go and find out the owner of Taj Bank and the other bank. Then the picture will start getting clear to you. You have the Jaiz Bank and you have the Taj Bank. It is an open source information. Go on the internet, the board of directors, you will see the shareholders. I don't want to mention them on national television. Go and do your research, and you're beginning to understand. You begin to understand what I said, that people have been sponsoring terrorism because they want to Islamize Nigeria. Now Tinubu has come, and it's a little bit very hard on them. That section, the kinetic approach is failing. So they are now trying to bring it through the constitution, want to legalize it. If we cannot go through the bush and kill as many people and they are still resisting us, and this man has come and is fighting this is just killing all the fighters, then let us go to the house and bring it in through the back door. We just remove that clause, personal. They will not know, they may not pay attention. Then we just, and that is it. They will still do this thing. Go and find out the owners of those banks. They are the ones sponsoring these narratives. And I always say it on television, go after the sponsors. Those guys speaking in the house, they are just paid to do that. And with time, they're going to bribe the remaining ones and they will pass it. If not this year, it may be 10 years time. If it's not 10 years time, it may be 50 years time. They are going to Islamize this country. But I think the solution, what we should be discussing with people should try to understand we are not the same people. The North and South are not the same. The British understood. That's what they are doing indirect, and they deliberately merge us so that we can continue to fight like this, and they can continue to take our resources away.
Speaking about the British,